What are your thoughts about Danny Boyle's The Beach, 2000? The book is more explicit, but there is a big metaphor for the Vietnam War threaded throughout. To protect the island, he is forced into more and more morally wrong decisions until he just wants to get out with his life. I legitimately love the first hour or so, and think it's pretty unassailable. Definitely gets off the rails in the third act. Oof, that video game scene, but overall it embodies that I know this is flawed, but I still really enjoy it type of movie for me. The Beach is classic utopian story. It's never actually a utopia. Did you read the book? The movie was pretty hated for being muddled and not really cohesive. He does grow, admit his lie, and the ending is happy enough in the photo, and the fact all three are still alive. If you're hung up on the cheating, I don't think this book/movie is for you. Edit. Sorry for the snark. But I think the book does a better job of laying it out, but I still really like the movie. I think it is a story about moral collapse and the relationships tie into it, but I think it's really a lot more about every character's listlessness and lack of purpose/societal connection. As a guy who spent years backpacking around the world, I loved everything up until they got to the beach. The random people you meet who then lead you into a great adventure, the intense connections you make with strangers, the lonely freedom you get from traveling alone, I related to all of it. It lost me once it turned into a cult movie. I just found the main character to be a total arsehole. I later read the book and found it a much better story. I'd be interested in reading the book, but I absolutely hated the movie. DiCaprio's character is a massive, boring piece of shit. The scene where he pops out in front of that woman and hisses at her to startle her into getting shot, and then acts shocked once it happens was just an incredibly absurd, dumb moment. I never viewed DiCaprio's character as anything more than a man with no direction simply letting his own personal hedonism take control. To me, it was an exploration for how much indulgence is excessive, or where does the threshold lie? It's an uncomfortable question for each of us, because it begins to become almost a condemnation of a behavior that we have also contributed to. I think, however, we can all agree as viewers in the context of this film, he definitely went too far. Loved this movie as a teenager. The point is that paradise doesn't last. Other people ruin it. Mood TBH, Richard was kinda mess from start, but that's the point I think. Paradise always gonna corrupt people when it's built on lies. I think it's that paradise can't exist forever. First time I saw it, I loved Richard's character. Rewatching it, I agree with everything you said about his character. He really was an awful person, and Etienne was the moral compass of the movie. I would say just as money can do it, even paradise can show who people really are from the inside. The paradise can reveal the bad parts of a person, as well as the good qualities, like Etienne is still able to show. But even as a form of escaping the real world by going to the beach, you cannot escape from yourself. And even if the place is paradise, every person there is flawed in one way or the other. For me, its main problem is that it changes direction every 20 minutes and becomes a completely different kind of movie. Characters and subplots and themes get picked up, tried on, and dropped like clothes at a blowout sale. Danny Boyle has a bizarre tendency to do this, and the same problem affected 28 years later. This also felt like 3 different movies joined together with duct tape. You so random. I just put this book on hold at the library. Really like the movie. Book is great. Growing up in high school in a monotonous and boring Silicon Valley town, I always loved this movie. I recognized its flaws, but the sense of adventure in the first half was something I deeply yearned for. Killer soundtrack, too. The movie is whatever, but that theme song by Orbital goes so fucking hard. F up Thailand for sure. The movie has contributed to over-tourism. I absolutely love it, and the soundtrack made me go to Thailand 3 times. It'll forever be a movie that means a lot to me. Loved it and the book when I was younger. Watched the movie again earlier this year, and while it's entertaining, I'll probably never see it again. It's one of Boyle's weaker films. He should have made the film more about the community than about Richard. But then, he hired the biggest star to play Richard, and that derailed the whole thing. I think it should get a 4K scan, but it never will. Solid movie. Give it a B+. First of all, that French girl in this movie is smoking hot. Good job, casting department. Second, I think the point of the movie is said at the end when he talks about how paradise is about being a part of something important. When it shows the picture of all of the people with Richard, and Dario G is playing in the background, it signifies that paradise can be found anywhere. That's the message I got from it.